Hello sir, this is what we are doing with David Gates today, and we're going straight through the 6 major points he uses against the church. Then we'll show clearly why each fails when measured against scripture and the spirit of prophecy. First, he claims the GC organization doesn't go to heaven. He treats institutional loyalty as if it carried no eternal life. That misrepresents God's design. Through the church and its leaders, God preserves truth, unity, and mission. Rejecting the institutional church abandons the structure God set up to guide his people. Second, he asks, can he use Ellen White's writings? As though those writings belong to independent ministries alone. He hijacks her counsel to support a rejection of church authority. That reverses the intended purpose. Her writings were meant to uphold the organized church, build unity, and preserve doctrinal integrity, not to justify personal ministries detached from accountability. Third, he argues churches don't go to heaven anyway, as if local congregations or global bodies lack spiritual importance. That is false. Churches serve as God's instruments to nurture believers, uphold truth, and reach souls. To deny their role is to deny the community God ordained. Loyalty to the church helps preserve unity, guard truth, and support mission. It is far from meaningless. Fourth, he insists the General Conference and church are merely temporary tools, disposable once the moment passes. That undermines the enduring nature of God's plan. The church is described in Scripture as the pillar and ground of truth, meant to stand until the end. Declaring it temporary reduces an eternal institution to a passing fad that disregards God's long-term design. Fifth, he repeatedly claims the GC door about closes, implying God is turning away from his church. That dramatic claim ignores God's promise to preserve the faithful remnant and guide his people, even through chaos. God does not abandon the church structure he established, nor withdraw his blessing from the global body called to mission. Finally, he promotes his version of the shaking, saying it removes the General Conference, rejecting organization and unity. But the shaking is meant to test faith, purify believers, wake spiritual sleepers, and renew commitment. It refines, restores, and strengthens, not destroys. It corrects error, awakens revival, and refocuses many on Christ and truth, not dismantles God's ordained structure. So when we examine his 6 points, heaven, writings, church significance, tool status, door closing, shaking, each collapses under careful scrutiny. With Scripture and the spirit of prophecy as our foundation, we see that God's church and its global organization still matter, remain vital, and are designed to endure until the end. David Gates' arguments fall apart when judged by truth. Ready, sir, let's take him down.